All right, guys. Sorry I can't be here. This is a hands-on lesson, but I think we can do it. Instead of using sticky notes, though, and sticky notes and baggies, we can actually do this with those whiteboards. So go ahead and grab one of those whiteboards that are a little bit taller and bring them over, and you're going to need at least two colored markers. Yes, two different colored markers, okay? And you can do this with your table partner, okay? So we're going to be looking at, as it says, conditionals, and we're going to be using the Explorer, okay? All right, so imagine you want to make a decision about what to wear to an event. Name two pieces of information you'd want. How would you use them in your decision, okay? So you got to decide what to wear. What are two things that would help you decide what to wear? Okay, so what I'm going to say right now is at different times, please pause this. Have Mr. Kai's pause it, or whoever the sub is today, and then make sure you can go through that, maybe share a couple answers, okay, on that. Okay, so pause whenever you need to. Okay, once you've done that, we'll get into the activity. Now, we're going to use that later, okay? So just know that. Okay, so like this says, instead of having this stuff, I'd like you to have different colored markers, and we're going to use a whiteboard. I don't think we have to do this the baggies thing. We could, but like, it's fine. So what I want you to do is have one colored marker for numbers and one colored marker for strings, okay? So go ahead and decide that now, which one's going to be which, okay? And again, one big whiteboard for each of you. Okay, so we know that numbers and strings can be stored, and we know how to do that, right? It's just digits, no quotes. Variables, no quotes. Strings, though, have quotes. And then Boolean has is basically true or false. Okay. Now there's Boolean statements. It's either true or it's false. Am I 38 years old? It's either true or false. Okay. You could grab another color for this, but it's not a big deal. I think it can make sense either way. I don't know if there's quite enough markers actually. Anyways. All right. And so basically, like you see it on here, it's going to have little sticky notes, but it's fine. You're just going to write it on the whiteboard. I think this isn't that difficult. I don't think you need to be color coded, so I think it's going to be fine. So here we have 3 is less than 8, okay? And that would evaluate to true. 3, if 3 is less than 8, it would be a true statement, okay? 3 is less than 8. This is not math class though, okay? Because if this was turned around, that wouldn't make sense in math. It would never be that way. But if it was, it would evaluate to false. Okay? So these are called comparison operators. Just like when we use equals and it's an assignment operator, here is a comparison operator. So if you ever see these comparison operators, here's all the ones that are going to be available to us. You know we're dealing with a Boolean value, either true or false. So we have less than, greater than, equal to, which is a double equal sign. Okay, so if it's a regular one, just one, it's an assignment. If you see double, it's a Boolean saying does it equal. And then greater than equals to, or I'm sorry, less than equals to is less than or equal to, and so on and so forth. And then the special one here, this is apostrophe equal, is not equal to. Okay. Okay, we'll look at those again in a little bit. All right, so each side of the comparison operators must be reduced to one sticky note. So if you see this expression, you'd want to boil it down to 3 plus 6 would be 9, and then is 8 greater than 9? No, this is false, okay? So you have to boil it down. You have to get it down to one sticky note, okay? All right, so I want you to do this. Now I want you to pause it, but evaluate each of these expressions and get a true or false on all of these, okay? So go ahead and pause it, go through it. All right, so for the first one, if you had, for example, this would actually go back a second. 6 minus 3 is 3, and 4 plus 1 is 5, so is 3 is less than 5. Okay, yeah, then that's true, right? 3 is less than 5. All right, so you should get 2 is greater than 3. No, that's false. Okay, and so on and so forth. 12, right? So if you look at this one, is 10 greater than or equal to 12? No, it's false. Then lastly, we have double equals. Yep, that's true. So comparison operator there. All right. Any of these values in expression can be a variable. So lives is 5, score is 10. All right, and this is where the baggies would come in, and I'm saying don't worry about it. You can just write it out like this, okay? So what would this evaluate to? Well, 5 would come down for lives because it's assigned to it, and then 10 is for score. So we would just put 5 down there, 10 down there, and it's 9 and 9. So is 9 greater than 9? Nope, false. So any expression that can be for a true or false is known as a Boolean expression. Boolean expression, okay? So a Boolean value has to be true or false, and a Boolean expression it's the expression to get that Boolean value. Okay. So we have to start making decisions here. So let's say we have some data or a question. Can I go to the movies? That's a true or false. I'm allowed to if it's before 8 o'clock. All right. What information do I need to know? Create a baggy variable to store that information, give it a name. So just write it on your paper. You just give it a name, whatever you'd like to call it. Okay. So it could look like this. So here's a flow chart. This is our Boolean expression to get a Boolean value. Can I go to the movies if not before 8? So time, depending on what time it is, we would go down here and then compare. So is the time less than 8? If it is, it's true. You can go to the movies. If it's time is greater than 8, well, in this case, if time is less than 8, then if it wasn't, let's say it was 12, then it's not. So let's say it's 9 o'clock. 9 comes down. 9 is here, is 9. Stop and evaluate the Boolean expression. All right, so 9 is, that would be false. So 8 is not greater than 9. So that's false, and boom, can't go to the movies. Okay. Now let's get into a little more. Now I want you to try this. So start at the top. So I want you to kind of create this little scenario though, if you can, okay? So what would this look like on your tall board, okay? So you're gonna have a variable, some sort of comparison operator to get a Boolean value of true and false. What does that expression look like? So in this case, what information do I need to know? So have I won the game? Okay, we can get a true and false out of that. So at the bottom you could have I won the game, or I have won the game, or nope, I have not won the game. All right, the variable if my score times my lives is greater than 10. Ooh, that's a little more complicated. If you can't figure this one out, it's okay. You're going to see in just a second. But with a partner, discuss what the Boolean expression will look like. What will be compared? Have I won the game? I have if my score times my lives is greater than 10. Do we have one variable or two? Two. Score, lives. Score time lives is greater than 10. Oops. In this case, you could try it out. So try these out. So you're going to pause here in just a moment, but try these out. Test 1, 2, and 3. Do we get true or false, true or false, true or false? So put these in here, run it basically, run the flowchart, and then is it true or false? So go ahead and do that. Pause me, and come back. This is awkward, by the way, for me. Okay. All right. Now, you're going to do this one, I think. So is my dog older than me if his age is converted to human years? Okay, so 7 dog years equals 1 human year. So doesn't matter if you're 5 years old or 20 years old, you should be able to still set up those variables, right? So what information do I need? Create a baggie. No, just right at the top. It's fine. Just create those at the top. And then with a partner, discuss what the Boolean expression will look like. What will be compared. So go ahead and create that flow chart. Maybe share out in class. And I'll show it to you in a moment. See if you were right or wrong. Go ahead. You can pause the. Okay. Here we go. So you could have a dog age or my age variable or something like that. So dog age times 7. Okay, so let's say our dog's 3, so we have 21. And my age, okay. Let's say my age is 20. Okay, is this greater? Then yeah, my dog who's 21 would be greater than 20. Yep, my dog is older than me, or nope, my dog is not. So if you created this successfully, you're doing great. Like isn't that easy for some. It can get a little confusing, but yeah. So if you got this part especially, doing good. What if my decision requires several steps? Can I adopt a cat? I can if I have $40 and I am over 14 years old. Okay. So in this case, we have the other operator that's available, and it's the and. It's the double and. Okay. All right. So again, got to create some variables, and then discuss the part what that flowchart might look like. What will the Boolean expression look like? What will be compared? All right. So this one's a little more difficult. So try it out. Create that board. Pause it. Okay. All right. So this was probably tougher for you. So maybe start at the bottom. So I can adopt a cat, or I cannot adopt a cat. And I think you knew the money and age, but what does this part look like? So if my age is over 14, nope, can't adopt. Yes, create another Boolean expression over here. All right. And then you have to say, if it's this, then this, money equals 40. True. Now, some of you probably did that double and sign. You can do it that way as well. So I kind of alluded to that. Maybe I shouldn't have. This is another way you can do it. Okay. So let's say your money's 39, age is 17. Yes, that part's true. But go here and, money's not 40. Money is not equal 40, so that's false. Bam, I can't adopt a cat. Womp womp. So here's what I was going with this. The Boolean value is this type of information, so you can also be evaluated to a Boolean expression using logical operators. All right. So we have comparison operators and logical operators. So in this case, we can do and what this means is if it's true and false, it's false. Okay. It has to be both. So if it was true and true, then it would be true. All right. So if something is true and false, it evaluates to false. Okay. Now, I don't want you actually doing this. Don't worry about this part, getting the right color. Just look at these values. So the question is what would it actually turn out to be? Oh, it already put them all up there. I thought I was going to do one at a time. Womp womp. So if you look at the and, okay, so we can just say and. You don't have to say and. Okay, we can just say and, okay? So true and true is true. True and false is false. So if there's a false in there anywhere, it's going to be false, okay? Ands only work if they're both the same. And in this case, I'm sorry, ands, if it's truly true and true, it's going to give true. If it's false and false, it's going to give false. But in this case, if there's false anywhere, it's false as well, okay? So both must be true for the Boolean expression to evaluate to true, okay? All right, so, and then here's the or operator. True or true is true. True or false is true. False and true equals true. So you have to have a double false on an or operator, and that gives you false, okay? Both have to be false. So it's kind of like the opposite. It's the opposite of our and, okay? All right. So either may be true for a Boolean expression to evaluate as true. Either may be true, okay? All right. So the ones both must be true. Now it's either are true. If that makes sense. Okay. So and you can take notes on this. This might make sense to start taking notes, like this symbol. Both must be true for a Boolean expression to evaluate as true. When it's the or operator, it's either may be true for a Boolean expression to evaluate as true. All right. It looks like I'm running out of time. So keep working through these slides. I'm just going to put them up here, and you just pause them once you can do the thing that's up here. I think it's pretty much, I've kind of, expressed the prop. Or I've kind of done this over and over a few times. So just pause it as you need to when I go through these slides. So we got this one. And here you can see we have and here. So we don't have to have this double diamond. Instead, we just have one diamond using an and in here. Okay, so pause it. Make sure you make sense of this. Okay. Okay. Pause is needed. Now here's the hard part. I want you to do this, and good luck.